Go ahead, Jackie.
Thanks, Jen. Did the president wait too long to get seriously involved in these discussions? I mean, this is happening so late that Speaker Pelosi is like using a legislative trick to pretend that it's still Thursday on the Hill to meet her deadline.
Well, Jackie, I would say anyone who's ever been through a legislative fight before or covered it on the Hill knows that the negotiations and the deal making always happens at the end. It doesn't matter how the process works or how many weeks there are, it always happens at the end. We're clearly at the late stages of the process here. This is exactly the moment where people put their bottom lines down, they put their best ideas forward, and there's heavy negotiating. And that's exactly what's happening. And that's why timelines can help make progress.
And then there are 3,700 Department of Transportation employees who are furloughed right now because progressives have so far declined to support this bipartisan bill that would renew their baseline funding, setting aside that there is discussion going on for a short-term fix that's possible. Aren't progressives squarely to blame for the furlough that's happening right now?
Well, to be clear, I mean, every member of Congress is a free citizen who could vote to support this infrastructure bill, including Republicans. They could come forward and support it, as 19 Republicans in the Senate did not. Instead, they have chosen to be influenced by whether it's pharmaceutical companies or other special interests, or just to be strong-armed by their leadership, not to support legislation that many, including members of the Problem Solvers Caucus, suggested they may. So it just requires a majority to support legislation in Congress, and we haven't seen any real courage from the Republican side in the House.
In the messaging to progressives about the value of this package, is there any discussion conveying from the White House that if this package is around $2 trillion, that the value of it, the investment of it, is actually higher because of some of the math that can be done? Is that kind of an argument that the White House is making to try to sell this to progressives?
The case that the White House is making is that compromise requires everybody giving a little. That's the stage we're in. But no matter where we end, if we can get something done here, we're going to have a historic piece of legislation pass Congress that's going to have a huge impact on the American people. And that's one of the reasons the president wanted to go down there today and lay down and remind people. We get mired, everybody does, in kind of the mechanics of legislating, hugely important part, but remind people of what this is all about. And this is all about lowering costs for people. This is all about addressing the climate crisis. This is all about helping women and families get back in the workforce. And that's the case he'll make when he goes to the caucus.
One more quick one. If the president can't get this across today after his visit to the Hill, what message does that send about the Democrats' ability to deliver, and what kind of impact might that have in the midterms?
Well, I think what's happening right now is there's healthy debate, discussion, and disagreement about the specifics of the path forward. And that's not a sign of dysfunction. That's a sign of Democrats primarily at this point, that we welcome Republican support in the House, trying to work together to get things done for the American people. That's how legislating happens. So he's going up there because this is his agenda. This is what he has proposed. He feels passionately about getting both of these pieces of legislation done, and he wants to speak directly to the caucus about that, and he feels it's exactly the right time to do that. He also feels that disagreement, debate, litigating components of numbers or how much is going to get a little more than the other, that's democracy, and that's a healthy part of the process too. Go ahead.
Yeah.